We have entered into a new age of people getting mad. Attractive white women have completely broken the left. I would say attractive women, period. Yep, that's a fact. A lot of videos. No, she right. This has been going on for a while.
CatDany Sweeney ad is just another litmus test to see if people can actually recognize and acknowledge overt racism and how.
Shut up, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Like, what are you talking? Shut the fuck up. Like, oh my god, how long are we gonna listen to these people? Oh, fuck, shut the fuck. This is crazy.
How harmful it can be.
Trying to calm myself, but that would
Billie Eilish, are you okay, bitch? Why the did you say something like that? For one, you live in America where you are the majority. Everybody looks like you.
The longer that this goes on, the
Damn, bro, settle the fuck down. God damn.
more that I lack the vocabulary to describe how much I hate it.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. I don't think I've ever worn yellow on this channel before, but I'm sure that if it's not my color, you guys will roast me in the
That's like a girl's brain. Like, I never even thought, have I ever worn yellow before? This is the first time I've ever thought about that. In my entire life. Have I ever worn yellow before? I've never even considered the idea, I've never even considered this premise.
Because that's typically what you do. Also, my little cherub people, I will be going on tour in October. I will be going to a bunch of different cities around the United States doing live shows, and these shows are going to be a little bit more personal because I know on this channel I typically don't get.
I'm gonna be honest, like I just pretty much only wear white or black. That's it.
Personal and get super deep
It's
into
that simple.
Sydney stuff, but during these live events I absolutely will because I want you guys to get to know me a little bit better and vice versa. Because
I guess I do wear yellow t-shirts. They start white, but after a couple of months they turn yellow.
I really like meeting you and running into you. It's
yeah,
fun.
that's
yes,
true.
Yes, there will be all
never
of the
thought of
normal
that.
Sydney goofiness that you have come to know and expect, but these shows, like I said, will be much, much more personal.
Just how it is.
Much more personalized. And hey, I might even show you pictures of when I had headgear. This kind of headgear. I'm not kidding. There will be custom merch at these shows that are only available for the tour. There's obviously going to be tea if you want to buy some in person.
None of us worn yellow.
There are
really?
VIP tickets, so where we get to hang out beforehand and talk and chat and do all that
Never
fun
turn yellow
stuff.
if you
Much
sweat.
more
It's like
personal.
didn't sweat.
There are general admission. There are meet and greet tickets.
I never sweat.
Lots of stuff going on. And right now, if you use code GONDOLA at the link in the description,
what the hell is a gondola? Aren't those in France?
Fun early bird people for a limited time.
Yeah.
So go and click the link in the description. Come see me live. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you. It's going to be a fun time. All right, let's do the video. So I genuinely hoped after my last Sydney Sweeney video that would be that, and we could all just move on from this topic. But the online meltdown surrounding her has continued to get worse. So
well, it's not just her. I think that, and this is one thing that people need to realize, is that a lot of the animosity that comes from people like Sydney Sweeney or comes towards them or other women that are looking like her, it's from angry, unhappy women. That's it. It's angry women that don't like them, and also racist people that want to remove representation of races that they don't like. It's actually that simple.
You know, here we are. And as usual, during my travels of the internet, I came to realize that this current progressive doom spiral, so to speak, with relation to Sydney Sweeney, is not exclusive to her.
No.
Are you surprised? No, you're not. So I thought, let's take a detour from my planned video this week to talk about this, because these people are losing their minds over attractive white girls doing their thing all over the place. Like
another big reason why people complain about it, I don't know if she's going to talk about this or not, is because a lot of, I think that there's a lot of liberal women who think that because, and this is a true statement, that the majority of women are generally liberal, that if you're a conservative guy, you are going to have a harder time dating. And so they use basically their sexuality and dating as leverage in order to get people to adopt their viewpoints and political opinions. This is true. And so when they see a bunch of women that aren't doing that and they're not playing along, that's false. It is. It's literally true. You just look it up. You literally just look it up. And so anyway, it's so obviously true. And so anyway, my point is with that, yeah, it's true and it's working. It's not working. Oh, it's not working anymore. It did work for a long time, but now you see a lot of women that have kind of moved away from that line of thinking and that line of behavior. And so what that does is it creates a crack in the dam. And now this is no longer leverage that these liberal women can use to control what men and how men express themselves in the same way. And I think that's the reason why there's a lot of animosity towards this, is because this shows that that power structure that these people have created doesn't exist. Yeah, they can't play that card.
Or just generally enjoying their lives.
Yep.
And personally, I always find the negative reactions to innocuous comments and behavior so interesting and telling. As most of you know, I really think that anti-white rhetoric has gotten very out of hand. It's absolutely culturally acceptable to be racist towards white people.
I think this is a big issue too. And this is something that will never get better, and it will only make things worse. The idea that it's culturally acceptable to be derogatory and to degrade one group of people and not another group of people, this, as far as I know historically, has never worked out in the long run, and it's always been seen as something that was a bad decision. It's going to rebound? It is, and it already is. That's why white people are becoming, in my opinion, I think white people are becoming way more racist.
But now it's to the point where we are seeing white women doing anything together or making comments about their appearances. It sends some progressives into a full-blown meltdown. So, as most of you probably have noticed by now, we are kind of seeing a bit of a resurgence of the 90s aesthetic in advertising and in entertainment, and especially in clothing. And as a result,
I think that's kind of true.
Cute white girls are showing up in media and in advertising, where in days gone by, over the last number of years, we have seen a lot of diversity and representation. I hope you're all currently visualizing.
I think that the problem actually doesn't have anything to, like, I mean, it does have to do with skin color to an extent, but it's primarily size. It's size and appearance. Like, these women would also be complaining if it was Halle Berry or, I don't know, some other attractive, like, woman who's non-white. Like, they'd be complaining about that too. It's the reason why they complain is that they see a person that makes them feel inferior. That's why they get upset.
Holiday just running across the stage. This was advertising for like the last decade anyway. So it isn't terribly surprising.
Yeah, that's advertising for nobody. No, but like only other fat women like that. And not even, they don't want, 99% of fat women, if they could push a button to not be fat, they would push the button. They would. So it's not like they even like the way they are to begin with, but they still want to see it represented because they're selfish. That's it.
And that Sydney Sweeney, who is currently a popular actress, has partnered with a bunch of brands. As such, and as most of you probably know, she went mega viral in the last month or so when she appeared in a jeans commercial for American Eagle, where she referenced her genetics, using a play on words to refer to both denim jeans and human jeans. Each ad finished with the line, "Sydney Sweeney has great genes," which was a reference to her appearance, just by the way. The reaction to this was swift and psychotic.
Yep. It's always the usual suspects, isn't it? Trump winning and Bud Light was a giant signal to marketers that woke is dead and they're chopping as fast as possible. Well, it's that woke was never really alive to begin with. The only reason why you had that woke messaging in the first place is because it was pushed by these identity groups in order to subvert the people that were not asking for it effectively, right? And so really, like, it was always dead. It was never popular. And it was just made artificially popular by people that didn't want to push back. Yeah, it was always AstroTurf. Nobody wants to look like this. Nobody wants to be like this. Nobody wants to be fat and ugly with a bunch of piercings on their face. It's disgusting. Like, and so, yeah, of course they're going to get mad.
It was very psychotic. With women over on TikTok saying this.
The hoop earrings, that's another one. I forgot about that.
was a Nazi dog whistle. It's an ad for eugenics, which is that is.
It's crazy. I never understood how being prejudice is so fun until I started doing it. And I really I understand why people are racist now. This shit's fun. This is fucking fun, bro. Like, this is a good time.
It's crazy pants. That's a crazy statement. Of course, then we had the onslaught of articles and left-wing commentators insisting that
I've
this...
seen 5,000 posts from right-wingers saying the left is outraged, compared with about 5 people on the left that never expressed some criticism of it. 99% of it, the left don't give a shit, but you manufactured outrage timing? Sure.
Meltdown wasn't happening. You know, these people have never been on a young person app a day in their lives. Because how is this your takeaway? But as this issue has picked up speed, people decided it was necessary to dig up Sydney Sweeney's alleged voter registration that apparently shows that she is
very weird to do this, by the way. Extremely weird to do this. Which is, of course, why they did it. Because they're weird.
Registered Republican. This is a lot of S noises and I am struggling. Then videos surfaced of her shooting at a gun range. As you do in the United States. And videos of her working on cars have also started circulating. And
it's not even her working on cars. This is a fucking advertisement. They just told her, okay, sweetie, put the wrench up here and then move your arm back and forth. Great job. Okay, let's do a few more takes of this. Okay, now stand in front of the car and read this. Like, it's a fucking advertisement, guys. Like, what are we doing?
Course just resulted in even more unhinged behavior from our friends over on Progressive Island.
CatDany Sweeney ad is just another litmus test to see if people can actually recognize...
She does work on cars for real, though? I mean, maybe you're right, but I certainly don't think an advertisement is proof of that.
Acknowledge overt racism and how harmful it can be.
What are your thoughts?
Trying to calm myself, but that would Sydney Sweeney has good really geez. Like the eugenics in that, it's dripping with it, and I'm like, no.
When you saw it, what did you...
Here's the truth, is that if you're a parent, which one would you rather if you've got 3 options, I think most people who have kids would rank her last. How do you want your kid to turn out? She would be ranked last.
No.
When you saw it, what did you think of?
I mean, I thought, it was disgusting. I think it's just showing what kind of country we're turning into. It's white supremacy at the end of the day. That's what this ad is representing.
As I was collecting these clips and putting them together, I'm thinking,
I've seen that already.
What is it about these people that I think is so crazy? And I think I finally got it. And I think this goes for the rest of the clips that I'm going to show you in this video. I never feel this strongly about really anything. So it's hard for me to really understand someone seeing something that they don't like, something that's actually reasonably innocuous, and then using their little monkey brain to land on the fact that it matters enough to sign into an app, record a video of themselves basically yelling into a camera, and then put it on the internet. What do you made an entire job out of doing that. I know, but the difference between me and those people is that I'm correct. But honestly,
I think that really another reason is that the majority of the people that do this are millennials. I think that there's a certain level of self-importance and like kind of, I don't really know, like how would you really say it? Like narcissism and sense of self-importance that a lot of millennials have. And I think that there's almost like many millennials believe themselves to be moral authorities. Now, unlike me, who actually is a moral authority, many of the other people only believe that they are. And the issue is that when you have so many people that are so self-obsessed that are all doing this constantly, you're going to have problems because it's effectively a culture that is built around narcissism. It's built around narcissism, self-aggrandizement, and the reason also is that I think another big reason why you have a lot of white women that particularly do this And you don't see this at the same ratio in any other minority group, I don't think. And the reason why is that I think that in general, women are more susceptible. This might be a sexist take, but I think it's fucking true, and everybody knows it's true. Is that women are generally more vulnerable to emotional messaging. This is just this is an average fact, not with every girl, but on an average, women are more vulnerable to emotional messaging. And I think that the guilt, that the emotional messaging of like, you know, oh, well, white people did this bad thing, they did that bad thing. I think that affects women a lot more than it affects men. And because of that, I think that they turn to these types of social, it's not real social performance in order to offset this perception of being like a bad person. I think that's what's happening right here. And so basically these people, they have like an internalized sense of guilt. And so they adopt and take on additional identities and additional disorders in order to, in their mind, even the score. And I think that's what's happened. And that's why you see so many of these people that are diagnosing themselves. Like, it is overwhelmingly white people that are diagnosing themselves with all these mental disorders and all of these issues and all of these problems. It's overwhelmingly, probably like 5-to-1, 10-to-1 ratio. Why would that happen? I think it's happening as a response to that type of emotional and guilt messaging. And that's why I think it's also affecting women much more effectively. Or much more consistently. And I understand this is a very, very, very politically incorrect thing to say. But being politically incorrect is different than being correct. And many things that are politically incorrect are in fact correct. Like this.
Being correct about everything all the time it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot to handle. Kind of like finances and debt and mortgages, which is why today's video is sponsored by American Financing. Prices these days, am I right? Everything from groceries to gas is hitting the wallet so hard, and many of us are swiping the credit card just to keep up. I cry every month at my credit card bill. And credit card debt, it's at an all-time high, trapping Americans in an endless cycle of stress.
That's right. No, never pay it.
But hold up.
Never.
There's a way out. Enter American Financing, the family-owned mortgage superheroes who've been saving homeowners for 25 years. Licensed in all 50 states, they're here to help you tap into your
pull out as much money as possible,
and crush that high interest
Change your name.
Why trust them, you ask?
Change your phone number.
Well, they're good at what they do. They've got
Live at
loads
your
of
friend's
experience,
house.
and their mortgage consultants are focused on actually finding you the loan
just get that money
works for you. Or if you would just live in a lake, if it was possible.
Credit score is 750.
Just a giant lake. And the savings,
I don't even know what my credit score is.
yes, friends, they are real. Customers are pocketing an average of $800 a month. That's like
you can pocket way more from defrauding credit card companies. You're only doing $800 a month. That's nothing. You can go way better than that.
A bunch of cash in your couch cushions every 30 days. No
My mom
upfront
did thousands.
fees, no hidden gotchas, and if you wanted to,
Taco Bell
you could
every
even
day.
close in as little as 10 days. Plus, you might
course
even
we're gonna
delay
get the new
2
game.
mortgage payments for some extra breathing room. So if you are ready to take back control, then call American Financing now on 888
Don't listen to 'em? Of course not.
1319.
Never listen to me.
That's 888-841-1319.
I'm completely wrong about everything.
Or of course, click the link in the description or go to americanfinancing.net/Sydney. So obviously, as I explained in my first video about this issue, which you should go and watch if you want the full context, I will link it in the description box. I don't want to have to rehash old ground. This reaction has absolutely nothing to do with genes, and I'm not even really sure that it has to do with Nazism or some commentary on eugenics. I think that it relates to the fact that Sydney Sweeney fits a specific archetype. Young, white, attractive, blonde. Although blonde is secondary.
Yeah.
And to these white, feminist, progressive types, it signals something that they absolutely hate. Privilege.
Someone who's more attractive than them. Glad we solved that. Who's mad?
Pretty privilege, skinniness. What are some of the other things they hate? Traditional beauty.
She also has huge tits. And that's a big factor. It is. And it makes girls mad. They do not like seeing other girls with big boobs. I'll tell you something. Girls fucking hate that shit. Why is it? It makes them insecure.
standards, perceived exclusion, perceived inclusion of white people. The list goes on and on. We'd be here for a while. So soon we had the likes of Doja Cat, which, that's the name of an artist, for those of you who don't listen to music that makes your ears bleed. We had Doja Cat mocking Sydney Sweeney.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color.
Didn't she date like some white guy that was super racist? Like, I'm just trying to make sure I keep everything straight. Didn't she? Like, I'm pretty sure she did, right? And so, like, this is kind of weird, right? That, like, you would hear this from her. Yeah, she's super racist. Yeah, it's like, I was just thinking about that.
Personality and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Then we had Lizzo trying to ride this situation and cash in on it, making her own videos wearing jeans and...
I think this is impressive. I do. Oh, it's not American. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think she'd be able to fit into him. No, this is good. Good for her.
Playing a song alongside these videos that references Sydney Sweeney in jeans. I'm not going to play it for you because, you know, the audio will 100% get copyright claimed. So not today, Lizzo. Not today. These clips they're really something. And I want to show you.
Yeah, no, you're right. She didn't zip them up. Jesus, that's bad. That's sad, man.
But I think I'm going to have to ask editing Sydney to put some Sydney singing with the clip so that I can. Firstly, Lizzo, I just want to say congratulations on losing weight before I mock this video, because that's a pretty cool achievement for you. Yeah, I am jealous of the weird girl on the internet who was in the jeans commercials, so I'm gonna ride on the coattails. I like to make people's eyeballs in pain. Yeah, this is so much fun.
Well, everybody was being like rude to her and saying that she was fat. Like, the problem isn't that you're fat. The problem is that you want to justify being fat. That's why people love David Bluntz, but they hate you. David Bluntz knows that being fat isn't good for you. He talks about it all the time. He's going to work out and do stuff. But you're sitting around talking about how you're beautiful and everything is fine. That's the issue. That's the problem. It's the attitude. Yeah, it's the attitude and the personality.
It's definitely a shot. Okay, I don't want to get banned on YouTube, but yeah, okay. All right, that's enough. That's enough of that.
Christ.
So one of the biggest things that I have taken from this situation is that it is, in fact, according to these people, not okay to be white. And any references to your genetics or to your cultural history or anything like that inherently means that you hate non-white people and you wish for their extermination.
Naturally, of course.
Which is a lot of
I read
things,
this about myself on Twitter.
Mostly is totally batshit. Because I am not the walking embodiment of a lobotomy, I do believe that basically every group on the planet has experienced discrimination or continues to experience discrimination, because I think that despite how much...
Well, this is the problem, is that a lot of people are unable to separate the difference between historical systematic discrimination and personal discrimination. So what happens is that, like, a black person and black people historically in America have experienced systematic discrimination. And this still has residual, like, ripple effects into today's culture. But the problem is that they use that in order to invalidate a white person's experience of discrimination that they're having today. And so that's really what the problem is. I don't think anybody's saying that, you know, like, black people didn't have problems back in, like, 1950 or especially 1850. And nobody's saying that, but the difference is that systematic societal oppression is different than personal discrimination. And I think that people on a personal level get discriminated against all the time based off of their race, of all races. This always happens because you're dealing with different groups of people.
Modern society loves to tell us that we are not entitled to our prejudices and whatnot. People inherently have them, and there's really no getting around that. But as I have talked about in the past, being racist and horrific and horrible towards white people is a culturally accepted phenomenon.
It's more accepted. And this is something that's true in a general sense on the internet as a whole. It's okay to pick apart the appearance of someone who's attractive. It's not okay to pick apart the appearance of someone who's ugly. It's okay for fat bitches to talk about skinny bitches, but if skinny bitches talk about fat bitches, well, now they're being fat phobic. It's always about eating the rich, and it's never about eating the poor. There's a million jokes for people that are tall that are socially acceptable, and very few for people who are short, and calling somebody a midget is seen as a slur. That's the same reason. And so punching down is very much culturally not accepted, and punching up is. That's why women can say that all men are trash, but when men say that all women are trash, now they're a misogynist. And you see this in almost all types of society, right? And you think about this, right? Really think about it. And what you have is that it's culturally acceptable to punch up at a group of people who you think is above you because you're now justified in that behavior. Now, I don't think you should be punching anybody. That's my viewpoint, right? And, I said I don't punch up, I don't punch down, I punch back. If you attack me, I'll attack you. Doesn't really matter whether you're bigger or smaller, you're white or black or whatever, I'll still respond. But the issue is that you create these dynamics, and then the dynamics get co-opted by existing social dynamics. And, like there's the old joke of comedy is meant to, what is it? It's meant to help the ailing, not ail the helped, or the people that need help, or something like that, right? And basically what it's meant to be said is that comedy is meant for people who don't have a lot to be able to laugh at the people that do, right? And it's a way for them to kind of get even in a way. And so comedy and society, exactly. And so that there's many, many examples of this, right? And really it's all fair game. Yeah, it's a free-for-all. No, I get that. But my point is that societally, that's why it's happening. And this is not exclusive to white people. And I gave like 10 different examples, right, of how it's acceptable to do this to like other people. Think about it. So many examples of this.
Don't lose jobs for it. People don't get reprimanded really for it. It's kind of just a thing that happens. There it is. Yeah, comedy is meant to comfort the afflicted, not to afflict the. Sorry, comedy isn't. Yeah, comedy is to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. Exactly. Yeah, something like that. Basically, that punching up is the nature of comedy. He accepts because it's been so normalized. So this entire situation is no exception, and pathetically, the Sydney Sweeney thing is not the only example of this taking place recently.
What a surprise.
Singer Billie Eilish also recently came under attack because at a show in Ireland in late July, she said that she was from Ireland, like heritage-wise, and that it was cool to be in a place where everyone looks like her.
Well, as you guys know, I'm Irish, so it's cool to be here. But it's really cool to come somewhere and like everybody looks exactly like you.
Yep, that is it.
That's it. I'm sorry, but like there's nothing wrong with saying that. The amount of times that I've seen people that are part of different minority groups that are so happy whenever there's a character that's added or something that's put into a story or a video game because the character finally looks like them. This is a big surprise, is that people have own group preference, and this extends into race. As much as you want to, pretend like it doesn't exist, it still does. And it always will.
That is the clip. That's what she said that made the internet really upset.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to be around her pale cousins. Yep. But these comments also made progressives on TikTok absolutely lose their mind.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy. Wow.
And for similar reasons to the Sydney Sweeney situation. The left's hyper-focus on whiteness and beauty mirrors the Sydney Sweeney pile-on. And it's less about what she said and more about what she represents.
Billie Eilish, are you okay, bitch? Why the fuck would you say something like that? For one, you live in America where you are the majority. Everybody looks like you. What the
I thought 41% of America was white, collectively. I could be wrong, but that was my understanding.
This is what we mean when we say white people and they biases just be jumping out. Because what type of racist shit?
Bro, you gotta stop. You need to stop. Like, stop being a fucking weirdo. Like, this is the dumbest fucking shit. This is so cringe. Like, yeah, exactly. Shut up.
Is that?
Billie Eilish just had a concert in Ireland, and she said on stage, "It's cool to be in a place where everybody looks like me."
Yeah?
Let's examine that claim. Do all these people look a lot like Billie Eilish? Other than maybe being white?
The girl can't even...
I mean, yeah, to an extent. I mean, like, yeah, being, like... I don't understand why this is so shocking. Like, it's crazy that such an obvious fact of reality, people have tried so hard to deny it for so long that acknowledging it is seen as, like, crazy. Yes, people do have an own group preference of their own race. This is a documented scientific fact that has been reinforced through multiple studies and multiple conversations. This has always been the case. That it's not, and that doesn't mean that it's okay to be racist, but you shouldn't be surprised when people feel more at ease whenever they're, and also, like, by the way, isn't this the entire argumentation for having different types of racial, like, representation in, like, police forces? Is that people want to see people that look like them be represented in different law enforcement? This is the issue, right? Is that, again, they don't have a problem with people wanting to see people that look like them. They have a problem with people that aren't like them wanting to see people that look like them. That's the issue.
Even talk about
it's the double standard that's the problem.
Own face without this apparently being a problem. In my opinion, you know, an issue is actually stupid when you find yourself agreeing with people that you would ordinarily completely disagree with.
Do you really think that Billie Eilish has had a pretty much perfect track record of being progressive since she was a child when she first became famous? Do you really think she's now like a racist white supremacist who's doing like eugenics dog whistle on stage in Ireland because she's Irish, of Irish descent, went to Ireland and said, "Oh, everyone looks like me"? Do you really think that's racism? Or are you just bored and you're feeling helpless about all of the really big, scary things that are happening in the world and you don't feel like you can do anything about that?
Oh my God. Oh, I love it. True.
So you do feel like you can dogpile a young woman who was just excited to see that other people share her very
complaining,
Irish
getting mad for
face.
Nothing.
It's not just generic white. She plays at many majority white countries and nations, and she doesn't go around saying this every time she's there. She's specifically Irish. She was in Ireland and said, "Oh, everyone looks like me." It's a very specific aesthetic.
Like, why is Jamila Jamil the voice of reason here? Are you guys really that far gone? You know, she's...
Oh, well, yeah, of course they are. They absolutely are. Because, again, they're just virtue signalers. That's it.
Probably right. These people are extremely, extremely bored. But I don't think that they're scared. I think that they get mad about stuff like this so that they can feel...
I think that they are scared in a way. And they're scared that... They're scared the world scares them and it upsets them. So what they do instead of that is that they try to control things that they can control because they can't control their own life.
Something.
That's
Jokes
really
aside,
it.
Once again, it's pretty clear to anybody with a functioning frontal lobe that Billie Eilish's comments refer to her heritage and her ancestry and the physical traits that come about as a result of that, namely being a pasty creature. And this is something that she has in common with other Irish people.
Imagine that. Who could have guessed?
Many of whom also happen to be pasty creatures.
What?
She didn't write a manifesto about how white is right. She made a
comment. And this is also what I think is funny, is that, like, the gap in logic that you have to make, like, that woman who was just speaking is totally right. Do you really think that this girl was waiting to get on stage and she, like, this was, like, this is the moment that she's going to turn into a white supremacist? Like, really take a step back and think about what the premise of what you're saying actually is. That she wasn't a white supremacist, she wasn't this terrible person, and then she came on stage and she's like, you know what, guys? It wasn't 6 million. Of course not. Of fucking course not. No. It was just a comment. It's a random comment made by some girl. That's it. Of course, it's just so stupid. It's so stupid. It's ridiculous. Today's the day. Yeah, today's the day.
an effort to connect with her audience about something that has, up until very recently, been completely understood about people from this part of the world.
Yes.
You know, like freckles and red hair and pale skin. Likening this to white supremacy is a weak, sad attempt at making something out of absolutely nothing.
Everything is white supremacy when you're a retard on the internet.
But it's become so part of the progressive response to any reference to being white or European cultures that they'll take an innocuous comment and twist it to make it racist.
See, that's the problem with what people do, is that they take what you say in a way that you didn't intend it, and then they treat you as if that's the way that you meant it. And I think that in doing so, what you do is you create a very weird, super defensive, hyper like aware society of people that are very uncomfortable all of the time. Like whenever somebody does that, to me, I just immediately stop thinking about what their opinions are. I'm like, I didn't mean it that way, right? Because there have been times people have done things that really bothered me, but I'm like, oh, they didn't mean it that way. Yeah, they just weren't thinking about me. They weren't thinking about me. Like, they were just, you know, they thought it wasn't a big deal, right? And so, like, you never try to think about anything else. It's so dishonest. Yeah, it's just dishonest. And the reason why these girls do this is that they have no other problems in their life. There's nothing else going on in their life. You really think that somebody that has problems, you really think that the guys that are, like, working on an oil rig are like, geez, let's see, who are we going to call out for being a white supremacist today? No, they're fucking busy. Massively fucking busy. It's first world problems. It's beyond first world problems. It's like first world problems.
How? And the primary reason that we know that most of this is performative is because...
And by the way, I'm just going to say it. Every single one of the girls that's complaining about either of these girls is ugly as fuck. They are. And that's the other big reason why they like tearing these girls down. It's because they feel inferior. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it.
In 2023...
Nobody hates women more than other women.
Billie Eilish made the exact same comments, actually directly referred to being white, and nobody cared.
And it's, you know, it's so cool to be here because I'm Irish. Everybody here looks like me. Just really white. Anyway, I love you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so riddle me that.
It's not a big deal.
Then we roll around to all of these sorority TikTok rush videos, which hopefully will make sense to Americans because I don't know what rushing is. Running around
she's not from America?
On campus. The only frame of reference that
Let me guess, you like from Australia or some stupid ass shit, right? That prison country? Yeah. Yeah.
Have for university in the United States is American films like Van Wilder and whatnot. That feels aged. Anyway, these are absolutely not new and have been taking place for a number of years.
Yeah, there's plenty of these.
On the TikTok app. Every time I see these on Twitter, they always have a caption that's like, "We're so back," or "The left hates this." And, you know, while that's definitely a little bit cringe, there is a lot of truth to the freakouts these are causing over on TikTok. And I think that's because, once again, the majority of these videos feature white girls, many of whom are blonde.
It's attractive women that provide an ecosystem for men who have viewpoints that are different than their own to be able to have sexual gratification. And what women try to do is they try to make certain political viewpoints not sexually attractive, basically. And so whenever you have a bunch of white chicks, or really it doesn't even matter what the race is, when you have a bunch of girls that don't have these viewpoints, then that power dynamic evaporates because it doesn't exist.
And seem to be conventionally attractive. Which, of course, is not allowed on the Perpetually Offended app in the year of our Lord 2025. So the comment sections on many of the videos that I looked at here have completely turned into war zones. And the comments are about what you'd expect. Why these sororities are so white. They lack diversity, not a single person of color in sight. Some comments are just
Yeah.
straight up vicious, attacking these women for their looks or their perceived privilege.
Right. And what do they look like? Like, I'm the kind of guy that if you start pulling up and you start making fun of the way somebody looks, I'll pull up your profile picture. I'll do it. I'll do it. Shouldn't have started it. Shouldn't have done it.
And what's actually really interesting about this, I think, is that a video from 2023 has also been posted on TikTok, where a young man asked women in sororities about diversity, and a lot of them seemed quite afraid to answer. He then asked non-white people why they don't rush sororities, which I hope makes sense to Americans. This is a lot of weird terminology.
I don't know what that means, they do.
And they basically said that they self-segregate.
You can't really help it if people of color or...
So that's crazy. So the two groups of people that self-segregate in America are in prison and in college. Huh. Wow. How about that?
aren't heteronormative don't rush, but
crazy.
we want to create like a safe space in case they do.
That led me to my next path, which was to ask people of color why they don't join the traditional frats and sororities.
Are you planning to join a sorority?
Oh, no.
No? Why is that?
What made me very uncomfortable was how white it was. It felt like exclusive or like exclusionary.
I think the perception of Greek life as a whole, though, become a little bit more negative.
A lot of them didn't really put efforts into diversity, equity, inclusion until like BLM, and even so, those representatives were still not people of color.
But then
because they don't give a fuck, bro. Like, that's the reason why they don't care. And yeah, and there's tons, by the way. There are, what is it, historically black colleges, like, or black universities, or HBCU or something. Like, there's plenty of, you can find different groups of people doing this in colleges that are all black pretty much too. What a big surprise that people do. Yeah, HBCU. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's nothing really that's wrong with that. I mean, I think that in general, like, this is going to be maybe like, I grew up in a very multiracial, multicultural place. I grew up in Austin, Texas. And so whenever I see, like, I mean, you just look at my friends, right? I mean, just look at look at, a photo, a video of me from 20 years ago, and you'll see that I'm surrounded by a lot of people that don't look like me, right? And so for me, my experience is absolutely not like this. But I recognize that a lot of people do feel differently. They do. SoCal here, it's a melting pot of races. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I never even thought about it. It's DEI? No, it's not DEI. Like, what do you mean? No, the thing is that whenever I end up making friends, it just turns out to be like, maybe a couple of Arab guys and, a Mexican and, maybe an Asian dude, maybe another white guy and an Indian. That's it, like, it's just what happens, right? And what do we talk about? Racism. We make racist jokes to each other all the time. Yeah, this is what happens. Sure, 100%. And that's just normal to me. And I think that for a lot of people, that's normal. And especially, like, if you grew up in, like, a working class neighborhood in a big city, I think that's very normal. Now, some people don't have that experience. And I think, personally, like, if I ever had a kid, I would want my kid to have the exact same experience that I had growing up. I would. And I would want them to experience, because you're going to have to deal with, I know, but you might actually have to deal with black people sometimes. You may even have to deal with Mexicans. And if you're not ready to do that, you're going to have a problem in the real world. And if I ever had a kid, I'd want to send my kid to a working class public high school. Learn to get the fuck along with everybody. That's how I see it. I think that's really important.
Favorite, they want to complain about how sororities...
But I never tell other people what they need to do. It's a suggestion. And that's for my own kid, right? If I have a kid. You're kidding, right? No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I think the lessons that I learned and the way that I learned to get along with people are things that were massively beneficial to my life. And I think that if I didn't have those experiences, my life would be less complete. That's true as a black person when we make just jokes to each other? Yeah, sure. Right? It's natural. Yeah, definitely. Right? But like, the difference, would you adopt a kid by yourself? No. You get to learn some of social cues? Yeah, absolutely. Public school in 2025 is crazy. Yeah, I know. That's why I want him to go there. Welcome to the fucking show. Yeah, bro, that kid's a furry. That's right. Yeah, they're out there. Welcome to the real world.
Are not diverse enough.
Trial by fire.
It's like,
that's right.
Pick a lane. Just
Yeah. Don't put your hand on there. Why not? Well, I don't know. Put your hand on there and find out. Holy shit! That's what my dad did. He's like, oh, you want to do the thing you're not supposed to do? Go ahead. See what happens. Yeah. Not so good, huh?
pick a struggle. Anyway, so because I like to ask questions, here is my primary one about all of this. Why is it socially acceptable to dunk on the attractive white women in these situations? Sydney Sweeney, Billie
Because
Eilish.
of the cultural acceptance of punching down and its ubiquitous nature. Think about how many people take shots at Mr. Beast because he's the big guy on YouTube. Also, to a much lesser extent, people take shots at me. All the time, I see streamers making comments, little negative snide comments about me personally. All the time. And you want to know why that is? It's because I'm in the position that I'm in. That's right. I'm in a high position and people feel like it's okay to do that. That's the way it is.
The sorority girls with zero pushback. Why does appreciating European culture, or God forbid, liking how you look as a white person and a white woman, feel like some sort of cultural crime? There's a double standard here.
Because the people that are pushing it to be a cultural crime are racist. It's obvious.
It's glaring. Sydney Sweeney's jeans ad dropped. It wasn't criticized. It was vilified as eugenics and white supremacy. Lizzo
It's important to keep in mind that there's only a handful of people that are really like this. Most normal people watch this and they were like, damn, she's hot.
Doja Cat jumped in, mocking it with memes and raps, and the left cheered. Billie Eilish mentions going to Ireland and looking like the folks in Ireland. Cancelled for white supremacy. Sorority girls post cute dancing Rush videos. They're promoting white supremacy.
It's a Rush video?
They're not diverse enough. But if we had Black or Hispanic or Asian people celebrating their appearances and their cultures, would the internet have lost its mind? Probably.
Different groups would. Absolutely. And we are seeing a resurgence of that. Anytime, oh my God. Especially, see, you know who gets it the worst? Indians. Not Native Americans, but Indians from India. Because they have the worst of both worlds. They are non-white, and they are also, in general, successful in America. Many Indians hold very successful, very powerful positions in America. The reason why? I think they work hard, and I like Indians in general. I do. But in a lot of cases, it is socially acceptable to... It is the most socially acceptable non-white group of people that it's okay to make fun of and say negative things about. I've spoken out about this multiple times. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's disgusting. Obviously, it doesn't mean that I want to have 1 million H-1B visa tech workers come over from India and displace every American software engineer. No. If you can believe that, it's possible to not fucking hate or, denigrate Indians while at the same time not wanting to replace every American worker with an Indian. I know it's crazy, but you can think both of these things at the same time. And so anyway, my point is that they get so much hate. Everybody is hating on Indians. Is the outrage real though? I think that for Indian, there's a lot of negativity towards them. Wrong? You guys don't think so. So what do you guys think? Do you think Indians are one of the more negatively, where it's more socially acceptable to make negative or denigrating jokes towards Indians? I think it's true. I do. They can't speak English? I disagree with you. I think that they're and this is again... this is my personal opinion. The majority of Indians that I know and the majority of Indians that I see are generally very, very eloquent in English. I don't know where this idea, generally, no. There are groups of people that I think that, stereotypically do not fucking speak English. Indians aren't one of them.
Not. And that's really the problem. The left has become so comfortable hating on white people, and more specifically white women in this case, because they view it as punching up. White beauty standards.
She said it. Oh, damn. She knows. She knows.
European heritage, all of this has been designated as privileged and oppressive, and therefore tearing it down feels very righteous. And obviously it doesn't help that advertising and media spaces are moving away from the ugliness that we've grown so accustomed to over the years. So seeing cute white women basically doing anything positive absolutely breaks some of these progressives. And the thing that I personally...
I will say again that if it was a really, really attractive Hispanic or Asian girl or, black girl or anything like that, and she was very, very attractive, they would also have complainers. The primary thing isn't being white. That's part of it. But the main thing is being attractive. That's the issue.
Find so ironic is that many of the people lobbing the most amount of criticism are these liberal white women who love to do this to signal that they're one of the good ones. Yeah. And as you guys know by now, I find white guilt extremely embarrassing. And I also find it really embarrassing that we're at this point socially. So in the end, and to leave this
honestly, I think we're pretty much past that. I mean, kids nowadays don't even know when World War II happened. Slavery is like a distant fucking memory. Like it's very, very, very it's a very, very far time. Tectone? Well, Tectone's like 31, 32. He got no fucking excuse, right? His dad was in the military. He should have known when World War II started. But that being said, I think a lot of young kids nowadays, like you think about it, like culturally, I used this comparison before. If you're around my age, World War II was probably pretty relevant for you because you maybe had grandparents or great-grandparents or parents, depending on your age, who fought in World War II. You would directly know somebody that was, part of your family that was in World War II. Like for me and my family, multiple people were in World War II, right? And so, both of my grandparents were. My grandmother and my grandfather were both, in World War II. And so she was a nurse, he was a pilot. The point is that in World War I, however, think about how much less cultural relevance World War I has to us now, even though World War I was effectively the death of all nobility in Europe. World War I was massive. It was effectively like an expansion pack on Europe. It was total fucking level cap increase. Now you can use guns. Cavalry is not meta anymore. Machine guns are added to the game. They're completely overpowered. Yeah, really, underrated war. Yeah, very, very big war. And so an entire generation got wiped out. Exactly. You've got overpowered, poison weapons and everything like that. And they're so powerful, they had to nerf them. They nerfed them for the whole server. Nobody can use them anymore because of how overpowered they were. And so the point I'm saying this, right, is that, DLC, exactly, mustard gas DLC, not a good time. My point is that that's not culturally relevant for us now as 30 to 40-year-old guys. Those wars are 20 years apart. I think the exact same thing is going to happen for the guys right now that are 15. World War II has the same relevance in their life that I think World War I had for us. That's my point. Is that the farther away you get from this, the farther away you get from having a direct connection to it.
That these progressives lose their minds and freak out and behave psychotically towards these issues, the more attention they are giving to the women that they're directing all of their ire at. But because every day is Groundhog Day, this is obviously not the last major freakout we are going to see about this kind of issue towards
I mean, I might get more
kind
content.
of women by these kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on that very happy and pleasant note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder, check out American Financing using the link in the description.
They keep making World War II movies? Oh, I recently watched Fury with my dad. Man. Oh my God, it was so good.
Finances, debt, all these type of things are very distressing for a lot of people. So if American Financing can help you find a solution, they're absolutely worth checking out. Now, open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Are you on my side of this issue where you were just so ready for these topics and issues to just die and you wish
No, then I'll run out of content. But yes. Yes and no. No, but yes.
More normal. Do you think that Billie Eilish's comments were secretly racist or maybe even overtly racist? Do you think that it was completely
what kind of fucking retard thinks that?
And what she said was very normal and progressives on TikTok are weirdos? What do you think of these sorority videos? Do you think that they're good? Do you think that they're bad? Do you think that it's weird that they're being criticized like they are? What do you think of the ongoing Sydney Sweeney issue? Are you sick of it? Are you glad that it's highlighting how racist these progressives are? And what do you
They're massively fucking racist. The entire thing is built on racism. Their idea of fighting against racism is being racist. Well, we're going to be racist to a different group of people. That's going to solve it. Oh, yeah.
Of this issue
overall. Right.
As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you are not subscribed already and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel as well as leaving this video a like and a comment because I do read the majority of them and I like hearing your feedback. Of course, in the interim, my little chickadee noodle people, I hope you stay
I'll link you guys the video.
Very well.
It's a good video.
Good choices and have a wonderful weekend if you're watching this on the day of upload. And I will see your wonderful, pretty little faces in the next video.
There it is. And Yapper, I do think that like as a bit of like for videos, like because I did this myself, I think that if she spaced out like kind of the self-promotion and the ad promotion to later on in the video where people were more invested, I think she'd probably have a better, because I think that her videos that she does are very good, and I think that they should have more views. And I think that one of the reasons why they might not be getting more views is because, one reason at least, is that there's a lot of kind of secondary information that's not about the topic of the video at the beginning of her videos in some cases. And that's going to get people to lose interest because it's more than like 8 seconds. And so if you had it like halfway through the video or like a third of the way through the video, you have people that are invested into the topic at that point, and they'll stick around and watch through the ad. So yeah, that's my opinion. But yeah, either way, it was a good video. And the link to the video was never posted. I'm doing it. I'm doing a 32-minute video about women. It's pretty good views, to be honest. I think it's 22, but yeah, no, you're right. And I think it could be a lot better. But like that's my opinion as somebody who is a YouTube person, right? I make videos, etc. And it's unsolicited advice. It's just my opinion. But there it is, right?